Good afternoon or evening. It's 6:39 p.m. on Saturday, June 25th. Just been soaking it all in this week. Thought I'd come on here and offer up a few thoughts that I've put together. Obviously, there's a couple of things in the news this week that make some of us happy. Obviously, there are others not so happy. Supreme Court decided that you do have a right to carry a firearm. Okay. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that one because that plus the Roe v. Wade decision, I'd be here for the next 4 or 5 hours. But no, well, we'll just focus today on the Roe v. Wade decision. And as my title of this video would indicate, the excuse me, one of the things that continues to fascinate me about so many Americans is the lack of intellectual consistency and intellectual honesty. I mean, if one simply takes the time to critically think and analyze the things that are being said, then you just have to scratch your head and ask yourself, are these people really that stupid? Or do they just not care that they're wrong because it would interfere with what they want to do? Now, let's start with the fact that the Roe v. Wade decision, all it did was, as it should, is take the power away from the federal government to make that decision and turn it back to the states where it should have been in the first place. Now, for people who don't read the Constitution or haven't read it or don't care what it says, and just listen to their TV or their local politician, it's no wonder they don't understand this. I mean, this has been pointed out that it's simply taking it away from the federal government and turning it back to the states. So you may live in a state that still allows abortions. You may not, but if you don't, you can drive to one that does. So you can still get your precious abortion if that's what you want to do. But this culture of death that we've created in this country and the fact that you see so many people just taking to the streets and screaming and hollering and demanding, by God, I have a right to kill my child. Who are you to tell me that I can't? Well, if we extrapolate that thought process to its logical conclusion, at what point don't you have the right to kill your own child? 2 years old, 3 years old, 12? Where does it end? The next argument will be, well, it's just a mass of cells. It's not a real person. Well, that's been dispelled. Maybe back when Roe v. Wade was originally passed and beyond the middle of the 20th century, before we had the technology to look at and see that it is, in fact, a human baby gestating, people might be able to say, well, out of sight, out of mind. If you can't see it, it's not real, right? But we know better now. We know what it is. You know what? Even when you couldn't see it, you knew what it was. I posted a video recently on Facebook where doctors had to operate on a mother, but they had to take the baby still in its embryonic womb out of the mother so they could get to what they needed to operate on. And here, sitting on the mother's belly, is the baby in the embryo, and you can see the baby. You can see it. It's there. It's moving. It's a human baby. They finished the operation, put the baby back in. Now, anyone who can look at that and then look me in the eye and with a straight face tell me, oh, it's just a mass of cells, that's not a baby, you're full of shit. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. There's just no helping you. You are exhibiting an evil that I cannot even comprehend. I just don't understand that way of thinking at all. Now, I would have more respect for you if you simply said, well, yeah, it's a baby. It's mine, so I can kill it if I want to. At least you're acknowledging it is a baby. I can have some respect for that. But to look at me and tell, oh, it's not a baby, just a mass of cells. Now, many of you who know me should know now that I am an atheist. And I tell you that now simply to point out that I'm not coming at this from the religious point of view. A lot of my friends do, and that's fine. I got no problem with that. That's what they believe. That's certainly their right. I, on the other hand, am coming at it again from the intellectual consistency, intellectual honesty point of view. Is it or is it not a human baby? I don't see how you can say it's not, unless, of course, your agenda tells you to say it's not, because you don't want to admit that you're wrong. Among the questions one must ask and answer is, and I wrote a list here, is human life important? Well, is it? Human life, not some other species. I know some of you are dog lovers, cat lovers, animal lovers, whatever. I'm talking about human beings, you and me. Are we special? Are we important? Is life worth preserving? Is it worth saving? Human life. When I say life throughout this video, understand that I'm saying human life, okay? Is it special? Is it worth preserving? Is it worth saving? Is it worth acknowledging? Now, the same people who want you to believe they have a right to kill their unborn child will argue with you and me about whether or not we should put to death a adult human being who has proven by their own actions that they cannot be trusted to live in civilized society. Whether it's murder, continually raping small children, any number of heinous crimes that would indicate to any rational and sane human being that that person should not be allowed to live among us. There's something wrong with that person. Now, for some crimes, maybe life in prison is justifiable, and that's enough. For some, and I'm not going to go into a whole list of what they are, you know what they are. But for some people, they need to be put to death. They just need to be taken out of the picture, plain and simple. But we're not talking about an innocent, defenseless baby. We're talking about a grown adult who has proven by their own actions that this is justifiable. Now, I've also spoken about my change of thoughts on the death penalty over the years. I do believe we need to be very judicious in our use of that, very careful, because we have seen too many incidences where innocent people have been put to death. So I'm of the thought now that, if there's even this scintilla of a fraction of a percent of doubt, then you don't do it. But if it's something where absolutely 100% this is the person, there's no question about it. We've got the video, we've got the audio, we've got the witnesses. We've got all the proof. There's no question this is the person. Gone. Well, we're talking about grown adults making their own decisions versus an innocent, defenseless baby. Now, if if an innocent, defenseless baby is not worthy of our protection, I don't know what the hell is. I really don't. I don't know how you justify that on the one hand, while at the same time telling me, well, we shouldn't put that guy to death just because he murdered 6 people. I just don't understand the thought process. Maybe somebody can help me with it. Maybe you can share this with some of your liberal friends and they can answer these questions for me, because I just don't understand it. So they want to continue to be able to murder their human babies. Now, I want you to ask, if you ever get a chance to, one of these liberal friends of yours or any liberal you might know, and again, share the video, let them see it. If I have a dog and my dog becomes pregnant. I don't want puppies. I wasn't expecting that to happen, but now my dog's pregnant. And I take steps to kill the puppies, whether in utero or wait until they're born and then just crush their little heads. What do you think's going to happen to me? If somebody finds out about it and calls the police, what do you think's going to happen to me for murdering those puppies? Dogs, not humans, dogs. Now, I know there's some dog lovers out there. I get it. I'm just using this as an example. Everybody stop, calm down. But what do you think is going to happen to me? At the very least, I'm going to be arrested. I'm going to have to pay some fines. I may even spend time in jail because I don't have a right to kill my dog's puppies. If you do the same with the cat, what do you think is going to happen? Do you know what happens to you if you destroy an eagle egg? Eagle, a bird, an animal. Let's find out, shall we? All right. Under the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act, it is a crime to disturb, both bald and golden eagles, as well as their nests, eggs, and any part of them. Trapping, transporting, killing, or otherwise molesting bald and golden eagles is going to get you in trouble unless you have a prior permit. So you can get a permit to do all those things, but I imagine you got to jump through some rings of fire to get one of those. And what would be the purpose anyway? The maximum civil penalties for a first offense are $5,000 or a year in prison. A second offense has a maximum $10,000 civil penalty or up to 2 years in prison. But you can kill your human baby, and that's cool. Criminal fines are much steeper and are as follows. These are criminal fines. Up to $100,000 for the first offense for an individual. $100,000 for destroying an eagle egg. Now, look, eagles are beautiful birds. I'll grant you, it's the national symbol, okay? But they're a freaking bird. $100,000 fine just for destroying an egg for the first offense. Up to $200,000 for a first offense for an organization. So if I'm part of a group of people that do it, I guess it's a higher fine. Up to $250,000 for a second offense for an individual. These criminal fines may also include up to a year of jail time for first offenders and up to 2 years for second offenders. Are you starting to get the point? You can go to jail. You can pay fines. And, well, if they can issue the fine, whether you're able to ever pay the damn thing or not is a whole nother question. For an eagle. Back to the, I'm sorry. I'm moving on to something else here. All right, this is from the website National Conference of State Legislatures. All right, NCSL. State laws on fetal homicide and penalty enhancement for crimes against pregnant women. All right, now what are we talking about here? Okay, so if I know you've seen these stories in the news. It happens periodically where a guy murders a woman. She's pregnant. The baby inside her dies as well because its mother is dead. And he's charged with two counts of homicide. Why? If one is a human, but the other is simply a mass of cells, why two? And have you ever heard any of these same liberals who scream and holler that they have a right to murder their unborn child, have you ever heard any of them complaining that this law with charging somebody with a double homicide is unfair, that it's not based in science, that it's wrong? Have you? Because I haven't. I haven't heard the first damn one of them complaining about it. But if you murder a pregnant woman and the baby inside of her dies as well, you're going to be charged with double homicide. In Virginia, it's Virginia Code State Statute 18.2-32.2 from 2004 declares that any person who unlawfully, willfully, deliberately, maliciously, and with premeditation kills a fetus is guilty of a Class 2 felony. The law also provides penalties from 2012 Virginia Acts Chapter 725, State Bill 674, provides that in cases of fetal death, as defined by 32.1-249, caused by a wrongful act, neglect, or default of any person, ship, vessel, or corporation, the natural mother of the fetus may bring an action against such tortfeasor. In other words, if you do it on purpose, if you do it by accident, if you kill the fetus, you can be charged with murder. Guys, now look, to any of the liberals out there who might see this, and I hope some of you do, I really do, you need to explain this to me. Explain your thought process on this to me. If it's a mass of cells, if it's not a real person, if it's not a human, simply because you can't see it, so that means it's not real, right? Out of sight, out of mind. If I accidentally kill a fetus because I murdered the mother, I meant to murder the mother, but the fetus was an accident. I didn't know she was pregnant. But I'm going to be charged with double homicide. How is that fair? How's that right? If you're right and it's nothing but a mass of cells. And if you tell me because that mass of cells is going to turn into a human, are you ready to say that? You're going to make that argument? Because if you do, then you're going to be stepping right into it. You're going to be admitting that you're wrong and that we are right. So think it through before you answer, because I'm dying to know what the thought process is on this with you guys, because up till now, I haven't really seen much of a thought process. So again, whether you want to admit it or not, and you're the people who tell us, we should accept the science. Well, the science is that it's a baby. It's a human baby. When sperm meets egg, that's what it creates. It's not creating a cat or a dog or a hippopotamus or a bald eagle. It's creating a human baby. Now, I understand you don't want, in some of your cases, I don't want to have a baby. Well, maybe you should have thought about that before you dropped trowel. And look, you're talking to a guy here. I mean, when I was a young lad, I was chasing it. Boy, I was after it. Didn't think about the consequences. I admit it right here and now. That was 50 years ago, something like that, before I met my wife. But that's who I was. I admit it. But you got to think about these things. I mean, the reality is, if you're going to go out here, women and men, and have sex, unless you're taking precautions of some kind, and I understand that they even have a pill for men now. Okay, I wish they'd had that when I was younger. The consequences of your actions may very well be a baby. If you're not ready to deal with that, then either A, take precautions, or B, stop doing it. Well, that's not right. That's not fair. Who are you to say? I'm not saying, look, it's your business. You do what you want to do. I'm just telling you, these are the consequences. This isn't Floyd's opinion. This is reality. It's what you live in, the real world. Sex makes babies. There's no getting around it. Now, the same people who will tell you that if a mother has an abortion, it's okay because she's doing what's right for her. Have you heard? You've heard that, right? I'm not the only one who's heard people say that. She has to do what's best for her. Okay. Well, if the man who got the woman pregnant decides that he's going to just run off and forget about her and leave her on her own, isn't he also doing what's best for him? Yes, no, maybe. So it's okay for the woman to do what's best for her by killing the baby. But if the guy doesn't want to be there to help take care of the baby that he helped to create, he's not doing what's best for him. You just need to think these things through. You say a lot of things. You say a lot of things that are provably stupid. They're wrong. And again, this isn't me talking about Floyd's opinion. This is facts. It's a baby. I don't care whether you like that or not. You can argue with me all day. The fact is, it's a baby. You who demand we adhere to the science, follow the science. Okay, let's follow the science. It's a baby. So at the end of this video, all I'm trying to get across to you is, A, you need to think things through. Stop saying things that are so provably, demonstrably wrong. And it makes you look stupid. I mean, and I know a lot of you aren't really stupid. You're just so locked into your agenda and to your political party that you're willing to say stupid things and hope that nobody really notices. But we do. We notice. And there are other options. You don't have to kill the baby. Do you know how many people in this country can't have babies and would love to be able to have one? Make arrangements to put it up for adoption, to give it to a family that wants a child and can't have one. And learn your lesson. Learn that there are ways and things that you can do to prevent getting pregnant. Look, I like sex as much as the next guy. I get it. I mean, you're not telling me something I don't know. But you have to recognize that there are consequences when you do these things. And one of them may be getting pregnant. I'm sorry it works out the way it does. I'm sorry, women, that you're the ones that get pregnant and the men don't. I had nothing to do with that. It's not something that I had any part of. It's just the way it worked out. But there it is. That's another fact. It's not Floyd's opinion. It's a fact. Women get pregnant. Oh, isn't it funny now, just a quick aside, how all of a sudden now we can define what a woman is. Now all these same people who 3 or 4 weeks ago, I really can't define what a woman is. Now all of a sudden everyone knows what a woman is. So I guess if anything has come out of this, we know that now, right? Look, guys, just, intellectual honesty, intellectual consistency. Think things through. Stop saying stupid stuff that can be proven to be wrong. And you know you're wrong. I'm absolutely convinced you say this stuff just because you think you're supposed to. You cannot possibly be that stupid. So it's got to be the politics of it. You're just willing to let yourself look stupid in order to advance your political agenda. You can still get abortions. You just have to go to a state that allows it. Calm the fuck down. Okay?